In today's video, I will show you how to build circles in Minecraft. So without further ado, let's get into it. So whenever you're building circles in Minecraft, your first step is to determine the center point. So a center point can either be 1 by 1 block or it can be 2 by 2 blocks. So whenever you're determining what size your center point is going to be, you'll want to take into account how long and wide your circle is going to be. So if it's an even number of blocks long and an even number of blocks wide, you want to use a 2 by 2 center point. But if it is an odd number of blocks long and odd number of blocks wide, you'll want to have a 1 by 1 center point. In this example, I will show you how to build a small 9 by 9 block circle. So the first step when building a circle is to determine your center point. Since we have a 9 by 9 block circle, then we want to build a 1 block center. So now step 2 is to build the same number of blocks out from each side. So in my case, I will build out 4 from each side of the center point. Alright, now that we have built out from the center, what we'll want to do to determine the next side is however many blocks you built out from the center, divide that by 2. And after you divide, you may need to round up to fit the size of your circle. So what I do here is I have 4 blocks long, so divided by 2, that would be 2, right? But if I do 2 blocks here, that doesn't look right. So I'll round up to the nearest odd number since I have an odd number circle. And then we'll build out on each side to make sure all the sides are even. Now we will take this side here and we'll divide that number by 2. So dividing this by 2 would get me 1.5, and we can't do half a block. So what we'll do in this case is we will round that down to 1. You may need to round it up or down depending on what size your circle is and what will fit. So now we'll go down to this block here. We'll place 1 since we rounded down to 1, and we'll do that for the same right here, and then we'll mirror this on all the sides. So now that we have our completed circle, you may have more steps if your circle is bigger, or you may have less if yours is smaller. The main thing you need to take away from this is whatever side you last built, the next side you build will be half as long and also round if you need. Next, I'll show you how to build a bigger 20 by 20 block circle. So since we have a 20 by 20 block, that's an even number of blocks, we'll want to have a 2 by 2 center point. From here, we'll want to build out 9 blocks because I am building a 20 block by 20 block circle. And then we'll build back from here over to the center point. And then we'll do that on each side, building back the same number of blocks. So now what we'll want to do is we'll want to find the side length of this side. So to do that, we will take however many blocks we just built out, which in my case is 9, and then we'll divide that by 2. But dividing that by 2 gives me 4.5, so I'll round up to the nearest number, which is 5, right? But 5 won't work here because this is an even number of blocks. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to round up to the nearest even number, which is 6. So we'll build out 6 blocks like this. So we have a 6 long side length here. We'll do the same thing for each side. Okay, now we'll want to find the next side length. So to do that, we will take however long the last side we built was, split that number in half, which will be 3 for me. So what we'll do here is we'll build 3 blocks like this, going 1 down and 1 to the right, so that only the corners are touching. And then we'll do that on the other side as well, like this. And then we'll mirror this to each side to make sure our sides are symmetrical. Now we'll want to find the next side length, right? So we'll take whatever side we built last and we'll split the number of blocks in half. So that would be 1.5, but we can't do half a block. So what we'll do is we'll round down to 1. You may need to round up in some cases, but in this case, I will just round down to 1. So now we'll place 1 block here, so only the corners are touching, and then we'll mirror that onto this side. And then we'll do this for each side so that our circle is symmetrical. And now we have a 20 block by 20 block circle. Now I will show you how to build a circle on the wall. So in this example, I will be building a 15 block by 15 block circle. So since that is an odd number by an odd number of blocks, we will build a 1 block center point. And now we will build out the same number from each face of the block. So in my case, I will build out 7 blocks from each face. So now that you have your sides built out, we'll want to find the next length of this side. So what we'll do here is we'll divide whatever we just last built by 2. In my case, I built 7, so I'll divide by 2 and get 3.5. But since I cannot do half a block, so in my case, I will round down. You may need to round up in some cases, but in my case, I will round down to 3 like this, and we'll just mirror this to each side so we have a symmetrical circle. Now, what we'll want to do is take the last side length we built, which is 3, and we'll divide that by 2. Dividing 3 by 2, I get 1.5, but I can't do a half a block, so I will be rounding up to 2 in this case. In some cases, you may need to round down. For this particular circle, I will round up to 2. So I'll build 2 out from here, and I'll build 2 out from here, so the circle is symmetrical. And then we'll mirror this to each side, making sure that our circle is symmetrical. Now to find the next side length, we will do the same procedure, dividing what we last built length by 2. In my case, that would be 1. So I'll build 1 block here and 1 block here, making sure only the corners are touching. And then we'll mirror this to each side so that we have a symmetrical circle. A good way to see if your circle is perfectly symmetrical is to build diagonal lines from the center point. So building this diagonal line, we can see that it goes through these 2 blocks here. So if we build the same line over here, we can see that those 2 lines are the same, both 5 blocks long. We can do that for each corner to make sure that we have a perfectly symmetrical circle. So now you can see that each of these diagonal lines are 5 blocks long, meaning that I have a symmetrical circle. And then after you're done with the diagonal lines, you can just break them if you don't need them. All right, now we have this finished circle. We'll move on to the next one. Here, I'll show you how to build a circle on a wall with a 2 by 2 block center point. So first, we will find our center point, which for me is right here. And I am building an 18 by 18 block circle, so I will build out 8 blocks from each base here. Now, to find the next side length, we will take whatever we just last built and divide it by 2. In my case, I built 8 blocks out, so I will build 4 blocks here, like so. And now we will make the circle symmetrical by doing the same thing to each side. Now to build the next side length, we will divide what we last built by 2. So in my case, I built 4 blocks. So I'll build 2 from here, making sure here that only the corners are touching. We'll do the same thing here. So make sure it's symmetrical. And then we will mirror this for all of the sides so we can have a symmetrical circle. So now to find the next side, we could follow the same procedure, divide by 2, we get 1 block. But sometimes you may need to just build the same side length twice to get a better looking circle. So in my case, I will build, instead of just dividing this by 2, I'll just take the same number and I'll just build out 2 more like this. We'll do that on the other side. Now we will build the same 2 blocks out from each side to make sure that we have a symmetrical circle. So the reason I built 2 here instead of dividing this by 2 and building 1 is personally, I think this looks a little bit better than this. But obviously this is just personal preference, but you can pick whatever you think looks better to you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to leave a comment down below if you want to see more like this. And I would appreciate if you like and subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one.